Good morning. Happy New Year to everyone. Since this is our first one of the new year, which is Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. And present with us is the road department, Bear and Dylan. And start off with, do we have any minutes, Helen?
Not road minutes. Do you want other minutes?
Road minutes.
I have no road minutes.
Okay. How about any correspondence?
Um, Sure.
Okay, yeah, that letter.
Let's get this letter.
Okay, so we received this letter from, excuse me, Mr. Jamie Fusion, who has an interest in wanting to become, do some work, so we will forward this on to the county clerk and recorder's office. And he can bid at that point, so do you gentlemen have any questions about that? Okay, everybody see it, so show that, if you would show that, please, thank you. Okay, we'll get right into it. What do you like to lead us off, please?
Oh, good morning. But as probably noticed, I didn't send a report last week just because we didn't really have a lot going between Christmas and New Year's. It was
kind of a dead week.
don't curse us like that. It wasn't dead, but it wasn't, with guys coming and going, working and days off and holidays, and they're fortunately for us, it was fairly less eventful. But we were working when we were here, get some stuff done, but. I went to run a new citizen request report for you this morning, and I had one request in the last 2 weeks, and that was in the computer, and that was for sanding. So I wasn't gonna run a report for that. Most of the information that's on here is on the work order report. We're still working on getting the guys to make sure we're getting 40 hours a week of work orders logged. Sometimes they wait a week or two before they try and catch up on them, and so it's still a work in progress on our end, but it definitely gives you an idea of what we've mostly been doing. As you can tell, a lot of tree trimming and snow removal. That's what a lot of guys have been doing. Some other highlights just off of the weekly sheet here. I don't know if I ever gave an update, but we did get those culverts on McCarty Creek installed a few weeks ago. It was raining, but it turned out really well. Might have to do a little bit of touch-up work in the spring, but definitely going to help those two low spots that we're getting turning into bogs just below the state parking section. We also did some work on that new fence that we had put in a year or so ago, where it meets that cattle guard. There were some concerns from a couple of ranchers about cows getting stuck in there, so we put a gate in at that end so they can get them out of there. But let's see, the Boulder guys, we started yesterday working on the mess of willows down there by Brett Smith's Ranch. They had requested we come down and work on them too. Right there by their driveway, you couldn't see it. We worked out a plan, and we told them we could take all the willows out of there because they're all in the right of way, but they like having the windbreaks and the cover and whatnot. So we're just taking partial sections back away from the road so we can leave some windbreaks there for them without doing too much. But then we're just hauling them out there to his burn pile, which is helping us out because we won't even have to deal with them after we dump them. Doing a lot of sign culvert maintenance and inventory. As we're doing the sign, especially inventory, we're catching a lot that are missing or were missing that were never reported or damaged. They can't read very well. So we're fixing a lot of signs this time of year, especially down south. Doing a lot of equipment maintenance, but it's more of painting and repairs and making so our equipment's going to last a little longer, since we know we're not going to buy fancy new stuff anytime soon. But makes us look a little more professional as well. Dylan spent a lot of time on our walk and roll for that new blade. It looks like we bought it with the machine. So it turned out real well. I don't know if Court, if you saw the email from Dan Woods from the Helena Forest Service this morning. He had they were out on furlough or whatever when we did the work up there. So I don't know if he never saw my emails or anything from back then, but he had just had questions on if we had made it up to that Strawberry Butte, did that work on that side. Questions about the funding and whatnot. We sent off the invoice for that back in November. So I sent him a copy of that this morning. In his email, he had mentioned wanting to have a meeting to discuss adding additional funding to the agreement so that we can do more maintenance and do repairs and upgrades to the road. I replied to him saying that if he's wanting to do more maintenance and repairs, that he better find a contractor, because we don't have time to do it. Personally, I think if we're gonna have a meeting, is to let them know that we want out of the agreement. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I might call Dan and just explain to him that we just don't have time
Yeah.
to do any extra work, so.
Even the bare minimum is a stretch for us at times.
And it seems silly that, you know, he leans on us to do that, but he's got money to hire somebody that could go up there and do it at a scheduled time anytime, right?
Yeah, we're just real cheap labor.
Yeah.
I don't know,
think
we
we're
were
that
in
cheap.
cheap, it was about $7,000 worth of work, but. I think it's just the ease of it for him, instead of having to go through the process of bids and contracts and finding contractors, you can just
Right.
call us to go do it.
Exactly, I think that's probably it, you know.
The only other thing I really got right now is just on the central shop side. For those that don't know, Bill Gillespie retired on the 24th. He is no longer with us. With that being said, though, me and Kyle have done a lot of talking and met quite a bit out there, and there's a lot of changes and upgrades we want to make out in the shop that will help us be more efficient and organized. Look at getting another Connex and potentially building a doorway from the shop into that Connex for better storage. Just a lot of reorganization, some safety improvements. And he is also of the same opinion that we're not going to look at filling Bill's position right away. He's pretty confident that him and Jace can handle the workload. So we're gonna see how that plays out, and hopefully not have to fill that position to save a little bit more money in the central shop. So,
I think that would be a good plan. We kind of got the central shop like the solid waste where they're supposed to be an enterprise fund where they get money in and they spend
Self-sufficient.
money. It's supposed to be its own little business, but we've been pouring money into it the last few years, so.
it's been that way for, according to Kim, when she was here, and Ginger before, and Bonnie, they've, as long as they can remember, central shop has had to been subsidized, yeah.
Absolutely.
We were close to breaking even, I think last year, we're getting closer. But if we can get more efficient to where we're getting more work done, we're gonna work on getting Shaylee more involved on the paperwork side, so Kyle can spend less time in the office. I think we'll be able to start seeing a bigger, or shrinking that gap between self-sufficiency there. So we're pretty hopeful. He's pretty fired up and excited to get things going better, so.
I'd like to throw this idea out there, is have some kind of a contract welder available for any given time. And I don't know how the welding experience is out there right now, but it would be nice to have, you know, if we get like the bins in for the solid waste, I mean, that's a huge
Yeah.
project. We don't want to pull those boys off of that to have to tackle just a bunch of welding. Can we have a welder on call that can, hey, we got a container coming in next week, can you come in and do this for us and we'll pay you for it, whatever. I don't know
We could
what
look
the,
into that, just kind of almost like a call out for the, or we
for
look at
welding,
that, or I can look into businesses that might be willing to do it at a discounted rate. Kyle's a really good welder. He's every bit as good as Bill was. Jace has got some experience. We do have other guys on the road department that have substantial welding experience. So if we need to pull them in to help with some of that, we're gonna look at that option as well.
yeah, I would like to at least let Kyle know that you get big
Yeah.
welding projects in, he doesn't have to tackle them. Let's find outside help to do that, especially if we're down to two guys out there.
Yeah,
You know,
and
there should be no reason we can't contract some of that.
I
work.
know, now that you mentioned that, I know of a guy, I don't. His dad is actually he was a structural welder for many years, and has mentioned the possibility of temporary work here and there, so it may be worth just having that conversation. But I want to make sure that, I don't think it would be any kind of nepotism because he's not an actual manager, but we want to make sure there's some transparency there. If we do decide to go that route, reach out to a few other people so that we can say we got the best option.
Yeah, depending on how much we spend, we probably have to go by the purchasing policy where if it's
Yeah.
more than $3,000, we at least call three people and say,
Mhm.
hey, we're doing this, what can you do for us? And
Yeah,
price wise, that probably would be a good idea anyway, if we can. Maybe we just reach out to the welders and say, we're probably gonna need some welding help, get on the, what do you call it, list?
Bidders
The
list.
bidders list. As we get going here, we can call you with projects and see if you wanna bid on it, so.
Yeah.
I think that would, in my mind, that would take a load off of,
Oh, I
Kyle's
think
back
so
out
too,
there.
and really it would help. I mean, one, all of it's gonna help the budget, but there's not. I bet welding was probably only 15 to 20% of Bill's job out there. He was mostly just working on trucks and equipment, and the guys we have can do that. So
Okay.
we don't do a lot of welding. We did get a new welder for the central shop and sent their old one to Montana Cities, because those guys can weld most of their own stuff, and that'll help alleviate that.
Okay.
Um,
Well, probably not just welding either. I mean, even some of the
Yeah.
harder mechanic work, if we have a bidders list on some of that, I guess you guys haul it to R&R, whenever you need to do that, you do that.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a project we can't handle, we usually call R&R, J&D and Grizzly just to see who's got the best time frame available, because that's. The cost is usually pretty close. R&R does give us better pricing most of the time. But it's usually who's the busiest, because we need this truck back.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would just talk to Kyle and tell him, don't be shy to contract out some of that work. I just don't want to sit around out there feeling
Right.
like he's falling behind, or I don't want to be stressed out because all the work's happening, so.
Yeah,
If we need to have help, we can get, it'd be easier to get contract help than to get him burnt out where he thinks he needs to hire somebody else. I just don't want
Right.
him thinking he's gotta hire somebody else, cause that's probably the most expensive route. we could go.
absolutely. And we've had that conversation, especially with a couple of our recent trucks, that if these are in-depth diagnostics or something that we're not necessarily set up for, let's get them to the other shops so we can move on and get them fixed.
Yep.
So
Okay, that's a good idea.
we'll definitely talk about that more. But that's really all I've got, just because it has been pretty quiet. I mean, a lot of the stuff is just, we're still plugging away. We do have our safety meeting Thursday. That's then.
With safety, just. Are you gonna try to go to that?
Yeah,
Correct,
I'll be there.
okay, so,
And that's probably what you got. I think when he said he was coming, I think I might have taken you off that email list. But
Okay.
I can put you back on if you like.
If I can't make one of them, I'll just let you know.
yeah, that would probably work, if you just keep him on your
Okay.
calendar invite or whatever, and if he can't make it. That'll take a little bit of burden off me having to go to every solid waste and road meeting and everything, not that you guys can't get hold of me for anything, I'm still around.
You don't like doing it twice?
The same safety meeting twice,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes they get a little bit tough to sit through, but.
Yeah. No, but I think things are going pretty good. We got a really good crew up north.
Yeah, how's your new guy doing?
I think he's a rock star.
Yeah, he's better than I am. It's kind of
Really?
scary. Yeah, I'm
He's
getting
right
kind of
here now, huh?
intimidated. No, he's working out really good.
So that's the key,
Yeah.
is you hire somebody better than you to work for you, so make you look better.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all
He's
right.
cautious. He's a good driver. He's does good on walk arounds. He takes care of stuff. He's going slow.
It's
Awesome.
really nice having a guy with his level of experience, because I can say, this is what I want, and I don't have to go through every step of the project with them.
Mhm.
And it turns out pretty dang close to what you were expecting. And so it's,
You got grader experience?
No,
it was minimal, he said.
yeah, he can run it around the parking lot.
Yeah, but
That'll
it's,
take a while to gain.
I think he'll pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah, which is surprising. The Dale, the one we hired before, he's better than I would say 90% of people that work here, and he's only had one season on a blade. So
Yeah,
he picked it up. I thought it was going to be a while for him to do it, but he does a really, really, really nice job.
Good,
A lot better than people that have been doing it for 10 years.
that's good.
yeah.
We need
He picked
that.
it up fast. And you still have, our roads are not going to change, but the quality of stuff, it's not going to, the quality of the material is not going to change, but he does a very good job.
Good.
Um,
Takes a load off you guys.
Yeah, I'm pleased to have, we lost two good guys, but we got really good guys to replace them for sure.
Good. Yeah, and Kellen, he's ran enough of everything that once he learns the process and gets that muscle memory on the controls, I have full confidence he'll be good at it too. A long ways out, have you heard any more from Scott? He's still looking at end of next summer?
Yeah, so I think he's got one summer left in him, so
Yeah,
he'll be
okay.
here this winter, next summer, and then he said tentatively maybe the end of next winter, spring going into summer, he'll probably
So
try to
27.
bail. Yeah,
Okay, I thought he meant.
You got
this
about a
next-
year left of him then, huh?
yeah, a little over a year, yeah. And that all may change. I told him he's welcome. He works a lot harder than a lot of other people that work here, so. So you're,
He might be one of those guys that comes back as temporary, part-time or.
yeah, he
just
makes,
help or-
I don't, he's
makes
got
more not
part-time
working
stuff. He
here.
makes 3 times the money he does on the weekend than he
Oh,
does
I bet
here,
he
so.
does,
Yeah, he makes
Yeah.
more money not working for us.
Yeah.
Well, he gets all his insurance and benefits from us.
Yeah.
He
He'll
makes
be-
all
yeah.
his money on the weekends.
Yeah,
He'll be 65 next year, I think. is
Oh,
what he
okay.
said. So
Mhm.
he's at that retirement age.
Nice. Good.
I thought he was 55 the first day I met him.
yeah, he's the oldest guy that works for us,
Yeah,
and he
doesn't
works,
look it, does he? That's
he's,
crazy.
he's in good shape.
How's, what's his name on the south end? How's he doing?
Easton, he's
Easton,
doing okay. He's still having good days, bad days, but he's been here, with his doctor's work release note as kind of a work as much as you can kind of thing. So we find light duty stuff. He still has to use a cane a lot to move around, but he's here. We'll see if he can make some improvements. Hopefully get going a little better. Yeah.
So you have somebody else down there helping him out due to that circumstance?
Jim's down there. We
Just
have-
him and Jim then still? Okay.
We don't have enough work down there right now. There's
No.
just, I mean, there's definitely some work and I went down and lined some stuff out this morning, but they don't have the tree issues like we do here and up north because there's a lot less trees on the roads. It's a little cold to grade and do culverts right this moment. So that's why they're doing a lot of signs and culvert inventory and that, but there's not a lot that we're gonna probably be bringing them up here in Montana City in the next couple of weeks, just to help with flagging on some tree projects, but
Yeah, we've got miles and miles and miles of trees. I was actually gonna reach out to, there's a guy that has a couple fella bunchers on Warm Springs. Just talk to him and see what he is an hour, and being able to get him on a dirt road and just say, we'll have traffic control, you just reach out. Set that
Okay.
stuff down, gets rid of a lot of liability and safety stuff from us felling big trees, and just say as fast as you can go, you just set them down on the road, and we'll have people following them, limbing and bucking trees up. Be able to do a lot of work real fast and just safely. You just don't have
Sure.
people on the ground where trees are coming down.
right?
start splitting that into firewood, maybe we can subsidize our budget.
Yeah, there you go.
Nobody wants Ponderosa.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But you got anything else, or
No,
you guys have lists for us?
Got a question for you, because it's a DocuSign, I want to make sure, not one of the bogus ones, that has to do with the signs, I'm wondering if that's the one that I'd seen you with an email.
Yep, that's the one from MDT for that HSIP project
Yeah.
on South Hills,
So that
or not, yes, South Hills.
Yeah, out there toward the county line.
Colonial. They're gonna do a couple of. So their plan on that intersection is to sign all 4 directions of that intersection better. There'll be dual stop signs, so on both sides of the road with stop ahead signs, and then they're gonna do a luminaire street lighting on the Colonial side of the intersections. So they're gonna do all the installation and everything. We just have to sign that to maintain the signs if when they go bad or somebody hits them or something.
Is this something the county attorney needs to look at?
He's already looked at it.
He's looked at it, okay. Yeah, I didn't know, I thought it might come to you, so.
Yeah, it came to me and then I went to
Oh,
Steve with it just to have him verify everything was
Okay.
good. And then,
I'll get it done today, then I just wasn't sure,
so.
thank you.
that'll happen. Probably-
What about the signs at Martinez Gulch?
I gotta go find some signs post. I was looking around at a few of my suppliers and they didn't have anything in stock. And so I was trying to find something local, but I think I'm gonna just have to order them and get them here. So we can get metal signs up.
they gotta be crash worthy though. You can't just go buy it you can go to Pacific and get iron, but it's gotta be crash worthy.
Yeah, they gotta be breakaway post.
There's a bunch on the ground between here and Helena.
Yeah, there is too.
Quite a few.
We'll recycle them for them.
Yeah, so I've got a long list of signs to get ordered. I was just trying to get through the rest of my sign inventory before I put it all in. But I can get those ordered anytime.
How you doing on flap?
I'm gonna follow up with Carl, because last we had talked, he was supposed to give me a list of everything that they needed from us to start working on it, and I have yet to see that.
Okay. We have roads picked out. I guess you had a list of roads.
Yeah, I was shooting for the sky and wanted to put in like 15 or 20 proposals, but he says usually 2 or 3 is what they recommend, what they do with others. Um, I said, well, let's do like McClellan and Wop and a couple others. Like, well, let's do like McClellan and then do 3 different proposals for McClellan where you would do kind of a cheap, like a basic, a big grade, and then a really expensive wish list project. And then the other one, we had mentioned that Basin Bridge, then you talked about TCEP or whichever one it is now. So McClellan was kind of my biggest priority, the way that asphalt's coming apart and we need to fix the drainage and everything. So that's going to be one of our most expensive projects we have in the near future. So if we can get them to flip the bill, it'd be really nice.
Yeah.
Try and get it paved a little bit farther up the road. Where
Yeah,
there's a
that would
little
be
more
good.
traffic, but
Actual pavement would be good.
yeah. But yeah, we do have some ideas that I'll get with him. And that leads to
What one
that.
would be my next priority? I think that you guys have a different road that is in as bad a shape.
Clancy's right there with it, but I almost think that Lump is a little bit worse, and I mean Clancy's pretty bad. It doesn't hold together, but
Not many people
I don't
out
think there's
there,
as
is there?
many people.
Yeah,
But I think Lump just gets so much more traffic, especially in the summer with Park Lake.
right. Yeah, the washboards just grow within days up there. As soon as you get off the hard pavement, hard surface.
Yeah, they're gonna let that work go up at Park Lake for that dam. So I'm getting lots of calls seeing if we'll go up there and blade up to Park Lake, and I was like, absolutely not.
How about the Forest Service improve the road up to Park Lake?
Yeah, and helps with ours for traffic that goes up there.
Instead of tearing our road up, why don't they improve it a little bit so they can do their work up there and leave us something nice?
Yep,
Cause usually when they have a project, they have money,
yep.
not just road. maintenance,
Exactly.
but Project.
Yeah, there's some places on Lump Gulch too that it's narrow enough where you can't get 2 cars by, and so it's just that nightmare where you're caught in a blade or a plow truck and someone's gotta back up. That'll be an interesting deal with trucks hauling in and out of there, so it's gonna be a busy time.
On the speed signs up there, I see ones on Whitetail. You getting quite a bit of traffic through there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I need to go pull that one off of there. We brought the other one down to get, we took it down because of the wind. And we brought it down here to get some work done on it. The way the sign was mounted, it was pretty floppy when you're driving around, and the stands on it were we're just gotta upgrade some stuff. Then we'll probably get them back out, if not this week, next week, but yeah, there's quite a bit of traffic, and it's amazing to see everything from 20 to 60 miles an hour right there on the Whitetail.
Where it's at right now?
Is that still in Don's corner there? Or?
Just above it, yeah.
Wow. Did you get signs ordered for that corner? Cause they were all gone, weren't they? Short corner.
It was just the one we've already installed. We put it in that couple days after you called me for sand.
They like that fence.
Yeah.
They
They
do.
go down there and they can't make the corner and
Yeah.
the fence they go.
Yeah, well, so we put in the one sign on where, just below where the speed limit sign was missing. The one on the other side was there. But I also had them install some delineators on the outside of that corner with reflectors on both sides, so you can see the corner better.
Where they're going through the fence.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so hopefully it helps, but you can't, it's just
Can't
like,
fix stupid, huh?
just like all the wrecks on McClellan Saturday morning, it might be slick, but if you're doing 50, you're gonna slide off the road.
Yeah, exactly.
We're burning through lots of sand.
I
About
bet you are.
about 23 yards a day is probably average. You know, the other day we had 35 yards.
It's not snow, it's a little bit of snow and people,
Little bit of
and
rain.
you don't think
And-
it needs plowed, you drive on it and it turns into ice cause it
Yeah.
rains and freezes and then it melts and then it freezes.
Yeah. So we always get about 100 ton of non-salted stuff. We usually try to burn that up when we can. That way we can stretch our salted stuff out. But you have a couple days of 35 yards a day, it eats those piles down. Then I get nervous because those guys aren't making stuff usually in the middle of the year. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so it's like it's hard to judge. Either you buy a lot and you have salted sand sitting through the seasons, getting rained on. It's kind of diluting it, defeating the purpose. But then if you don't order enough, then You
that why
could,
the
you
state
could,
put
wind-
a cover on theirs out there, or?
Yeah, that's part of it. It helps keep the moisture off so it doesn't freeze and clump up as bad. Also helps keep the water off of it so it's not leaching salt out and into the ground. And they probably just had money they wanted to waste on something. I'd love to
You
get
don't
us,
have that problem?
huh?
You don't have that problem?
I
I
wish,
have lots of ways I want to waste. money,
yeah,
But I would love to put up some sand sheds for us so we could do that, but
yeah,
if you keep the snow off of it, keep the moisture out, put a good solid, asphalt or concrete base under it, so the salt's not leaching out. But again, that's so far down the priority list.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Holmes Gulch.
No, I won't.
I know you don't want to. And my thoughts on this are, I'm not talking about maintenance, I'm not talking about improving it, I'm just talking about doing what we can with the ice. That's the problem right now. And our issue is we're only going to Mule Trail, and I know that's a problem because of a turnaround, whatever. And I think we just need to make time just to go up and at least check it. If it's icy and bad, throw some sand on it. And I know nobody wants to do that, but I think the safety issue is gonna outweigh a lot of that, because we have so many residents up there now. And I think that they understand, and I did text Dylan, I think it was Sunday night when I texted you. And you don't have to answer me on those till Monday if you don't, or whenever you get time. But I think we need to do something, and unless these guys disagree with me, we're doing the bottom half. I think we just need to make the time to at least check it. If it's icy, throw some sand on it. If you need somebody to drive up there and stop traffic, I will talk to them people and find a time when they think it's safe, and we'll let that come from them. But I think we have to do something just because of the safety issues, and I don't mean widen it or fix it. That's not what I'm worried about. That's a whole nother issue.
right. I think they're still kind of chewing up that RSID conversation.
Well, and I think if they want a way better road, that's what they need to do.
Mhm.
But I think, and
Well, what would be the point of trying to push for a better road when we make it to what it's better, as good as the bottom half? The problem that I see is that whenever it's slick anywhere, it's slick up there. Every day. Like, you can go sand it once a week. It's gonna be slick the next day. I mean, every day we have to hit these roads, so it's gonna be an everyday thing that we have to go up there. But you have to have somebody, like the first day we went up there was people coming up the hill that went around Scotty that was flagging. And I'm sitting on the hill and they're spun out, and I'm in the blade spun out. And it's just one of those things that it consumes a lot of time and a lot of resources. And I know that if it was just like we talked to those people that we go up their major snow events, we can make that happen. But this is going to turn into an everyday thing. Because if it's slick there, like I said, it's slick everywhere else. It's not just.
That's what I told them. And I understand that. And I'm not saying every day, but
Well, then we go back to the other conversations we've had over the last 2 winters of reducing the amount of sand usage on gravel roads, because 90% of the time it doesn't do any good. Unless there's a hard glass ice on it, it just pushes down into snowpack and it's not doing us any good.
and that's kind of what I'm just asking for
Yeah,
suggestions, something.
I'm still trying to fight with guys. I'll go out and follow guys around and see where they're putting sand down, and we're still wasting too much sand on gravel roads, because they'll drive over it and then I'll come by an hour later and it's already pushed into this, it's not doing us any good.
And that's so what you're saying is that's the snow portion of it.
Mhm.
I mean, the snow is gonna get slick too,
Yep.
but I think our problem this year, for sure, is we're getting snow that we're really not plowing because it's only a little bit of snow. But then when you drive on that snow and then the weather's doing what it's been doing, all we get is ice. That's the issue.
But if it's just hard pack icy snow versus like that melted frozen hard glass ice, as soon as you get 30, 40 degrees in the afternoon, it's just pushing right in and it's not doing it. You don't notice it. That's why we have to go out on all these roads every day. Is because it's doing that same thing. It's just pushing into the pack.
I know just the history of it, last year when we were up there every day, and it doesn't change for those people if it's a little bit slick or a lot of it slick. Like even last year when we had just good snowpack, it was complaints all the time. So, I mean, it's just like I was saying in a few meetings ago, that once you start that, you just get a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And then pretty soon we're doing enough maintenance that why would we get an RSID? This is up to, we're getting it sanded every day and we're getting it bladed when it's rough. So just leave it the way it is, But I know that there's a few people that called me and asked me if you guys are gonna do that and it's non-maintained, there's other stuff that could be done too, like Strawberry Butte and stuff that people are also paying taxes on. That's a non-maintained county road. And it's your guys' discretion if we do that or not, but it's like, where does it end? I mean, if there's significant ice times, it makes sense to go up there, but that's all the time. With how steep it is up there, you pretty much have to go up there every day, yeah, to make it safe, because it's never safe. It's like McCullen Creek. You have to do that 3 times a day because it's just so, it's at such an incline that it's never safe. It's always slick, it's always dangerous, and it's tight. It's another thing is that we need so much more sand, just because if you do meet somebody coming out of there, you're on a hill, But I'll do whatever you guys want, but it just comes back to, just takes so much to commit to that. Once we do commit to it, like we say, okay, we'll just start going up there more. It doesn't stop there. We'll go up more and then that won't be enough and it'll be more and more. And we'll just be back to doing it every day consistently.
And I get that, and I think Bear was at the meeting where we agreed to, if we get a snow event, we're plowing the snow up there.
I think what I heard is if we need the machine up there to wing it, to widen it, that was
If
the
it
deal.
got bad, if it was deep, heavy snow, we'd go open it up.
We're
That
plowing
was
it.
the conversation.
They were kind of taking care of it themselves, is my understanding.
No,
Trying to.
well,
No.
the year before, we were up there every day, if not twice a
And
day.
that's how we got
Every
to this
day.
point was 5, 6 years ago, we weren't hardly doing anything. And then they start calling, hey, it's bad snow. Okay, we'll see if we can get somebody up there. Okay, now it's just snowing. Okay, now it's slick. Okay, now it's every day. I mean, the last 2 winters, we got more phone calls for that section of road than any other road in the county.
And there's a lot of accidents up there just because it is so dangerous and
Steep,
steep
icy,
and
and narrow.
nasty.
Well, and I think it's like everything else. Maybe 5, 10 years ago, we didn't have the houses up there, just like Clancy Creek, just like Lump Gulch, just like McClellan Creek. And the more we get that, the more we're gonna have to deal with it somehow.
But I tell people up high or Comet, Basin Creek, all these mountain roads, Lump Gulch and stuff, the same thing, because it's just as bad of conditions. You chose to live up there, you might want to throw a set of chains on. Because we may not get up there for a while, and I think they need to have that same mentality that they chose to live up there. They might need to use chains to get in and out.
And I
Just
agree
'cause
with that. I mean,
We may not get there for a few days, because if we get a call that it's slick and we're busy, if we're getting 10 phone calls and fire department's yelling at us on McClellan, I'm not pulling guys to go up to Holmes Gulch. But, and we keep saying when we get time, but as Dylan's made, that said many times, we never get time. We have to make time to go do these things, and we don't have free time very, very often.
Yeah, there's periods of an hour here or an hour there where you have time, but we're gonna commit to that. We're gonna get to a point where we're gonna be back in a commitment of like when it gets slick, we just go up there and check, and if it's slick, we sand it. Well, that's every day. So now we're just committed ourselves to not just once a week, or we're committing to 4 days a week. And then if it is slick on call out days, can you just say, well, we'll just do the rest of these roads on a call out, but we won't go up there? It just always adds, and then you just commit and it gets more and more and more. And I feel like the more comfortable, and I'm not saying we shouldn't make them uncomfortable, but the more we do, the less it drives those people to want to start an RSID.
Our concern is safety.
Mm-hmm.
And so is
That's-
mine, my
that's-
guy's safety.
Right, and I've said that.
and you guys have to figure into that, and we realize that. That's why we're bringing it up and asking, because just like everything else, it comes up every time it does this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's long been known and said that the more you do, the more they ask for. It's not just here, it's everywhere. You do something nice for somebody, they expect something more the next time. You know, and it's like Dylan said, we have all these roads that we barely maintain now. You know, why is this one a priority other than they just call more often?
I don't wanna, I'm not saying it's a priority, and I think that my text said that. That I texted you, it's not a priority, it's it's your sand in the bottom of it, people see that. So some of it's a priority. That's
Well-
kind of my point.
I mean, one other thing I wanted to bring up was this wasn't that long ago before I was here, but it wasn't that long before. That other the bus routes, the county didn't plow and sand until storms were over. And if it was windy, they didn't go out. And it was, you deal with it until the storm's done and then we'll get out there. And we don't do that anymore. If people want, if it's snowing, we're out plowing. If it's slick, we're out sanding. But because of that, now they expect us out 24/7, just like the state. And it's like, we can't do that, but you know,
And we can't, and we realize that, as I'm sure you guys do, which is why we're talking about the RSID and the RMD, and we're hoping it goes that way, because then we're gonna have at least a decent road up there and straightened out.
Yeah,
I think you guys have been doing a good job on it. I mean, Craig gets texts from the people up there once in a while about, hey, it's slick, can you come help us out? But that isn't very often. I
It
don't
isn't
think.
very often.
So.
Yeah, I just-
maybe it's.
I just wanna make sure the verbiage of like, when we're up there, just go check it if it's icy. It's that every day though, like if we want, go check it today, right now it needs it. Tomorrow morning, it's gonna need it. I mean, if anything else, if we're sanding anywhere else, that needs it.
It may be a way that, and I don't, maybe this is just not gonna, it's not feasible, but. I mean, if we get those calls that, hey, it's slick, can you help us out? I mean, we need to say, we'll let them know, but it may be a day or 5 or a week before we get up there, just because of whatever else is going on. Like, I'm not saying we don't wanna go up there and make the road better.
And I
But
think that's
That's
kind of
what
what
we
we
had
told
said
them, is
before.
and I've been telling them the same thing, it might not be today, and that's probably on the recording from that meeting.
Yeah, and I
But-
think that's what we just gotta keep in mind, like, just cause we're getting that call does not make it an emergency. And, you know, I don't think we need to go up there and check it every day.
And I'm not saying check it every day, but if you're plowing the bottom, you should at least look at it, and
Yeah, just the bottom is just different, just because you can see traffic coming at you and you're not gonna meet somebody and have to back up a hill, and
Yeah, and if we.
it's
run
just
over
a
there to-
completely different, it's a
Yep.
completely different road. That thing is also county spec. It's got gravel on it. It's wide. We trim the trees back. It's just,
And it's part of the
Just-
route, so our guy's there, and if he's looking up and he's like, yeah, the rest of that's real slick, well, now we gotta call a guy and have him sit there and wait to get somebody else over there. That's not very, you know, we could possibly come back at another time. But to have a guy go look at it when he's on his normal route and then have him wait for somebody to come and flag for him, and that could be an hour plus before we get somebody else up there. And now you're pulling a guy off another route, and that guy's getting behind on his route.
is there any way those guys would be interested in starting, like, instead of committing to an RSID, would they be committed to do like an HOA where people are getting a contractor and they put their money into a pot and the contractor pays for that, or what? I'd be curious of what a contractor would say or charge if he said from point A to point B, exactly what it would be.
I don't know.
Or if
Problem
they,
with the HOA, not everybody pays.
yeah,
That's the nice thing about an RSID, it comes out of your taxes. If
Yeah.
you're in the circle, you get charged.
And
Yeah.
there's very few HOAs that are.
Functional.
yeah, I just
active-
was just curious if
actively
those guys would
functioning
be
up there.
interested in that, cause I know, I think most of them were here.
Right.
Well, they might even just need to give it to their neighbors and say, let's each throw X amount in a pot every winter for somebody to come sand and plow, but.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not saying we're not gonna go do what we can up there, but
And I
Yeah.
think at this point, that's all we're asking. And what they're, nobody in the county gets everything they want. If they did, you guys be doing my road, and you don't.
Yeah.
Don't even touch it.
Yeah, well, I just know, I'm
I'd
just,
be taking a plow home to plow my own driveway.
I'm just speaking from history. I just know, this is like, I've been here,
Oh, yeah.
I've seen the writing on the wall. I know how this works. It's just,
But that's typical, until there were houses up past Mule Trail, this wasn't an issue. Until there were houses up at the top of Martinez Gulch, wasn't an issue. Until 45 people built up at the end of Lump Gulch, wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the beast, and I'm
Mhm.
not telling you have to go do it today or tomorrow. And I won't do that. That's why we have you guys. Those are the
Mhm.
decisions you need to make, and
Mhm.
we need to back that up. but we have to look at everything, and that's why I brought it up.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be priority. I mean, if you got snow and you're doing all the routes and everything, you gotta get it done. Go do all that stuff and then we can, I mean, if they complain, we can say, we're doing the other stuff, we'll get up there when we can. I mean, that's
Which
kind of
is-
how we
I
left
don't
it.
think I sent you did I send you a copy of the text?
I don't, there's been so many texts since then from everybody that,
Just, cause that's what I told them. I said, they have priorities. Well, we're gonna get to it. It's just, which is what we said during the meeting. It's not gonna happen. It might not happen today. It might not happen right now.
And I think especially for the safety concern, it should be something that we schedule. You don't just go look at it and do it when you think it needs to be done. I think it's, okay, we know it needs to be done because we're doing everything else.
Mhm.
Let's set a time up where either Craig or one of your other guys can go up there and flag them. And if they're not stopping for the flaggers, we need to let them know.
And we need to let them know
We
that.
need to, if you're gonna drive by our flaggers when we're plowing, you're gonna have your own road.
Mhm.
We're trying to help you out and you're
Because
screwing
they
us up.
agreed to that too. They agreed to come up with the time. They agreed to make some concessions along that and
Yeah, but I could tell you that there's just so many things that things are said here in good graces to get something. They change a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Ideas and things change a lot from what people
well, I'm sure they
will
do.
say. But yeah, like I said, I don't have it. I'll do whatever you guys want, but I
We're
just know
not
I know the
ignoring-
writing on the wall and I want to do as much as we can,
And,
but
I'm not saying there's
Yeah,
no.
we're not ignoring the road. We're
All
getting
I'm-
there when we can.
All I'm saying is, it's an issue and we needed to talk about it.
No,
That's all.
fine. And
And
it's,
and
we
and
know
like
there's an
Corey said,
issue up there. We know that it's a public safety
We-
issue. We want to try and do the best we can for every resident in this county and it's just such a low priority with everything else we have going on. But like when we had the blades out scraping roads a couple weeks ago, they went up there and scraped the road.
Yep.
You know, so we have made an effort to get up there, you know, when time allows or when it's warranted and we're, you know,
And
able
this
to
is-
schedule it.
this is part of why I agree with you with the Forest Service.
Yeah,
We're doing stuff that granted, we're getting paid for it, but
it's barely covering our
it's,
time. And,
yeah,
you know, when
we're
we
not-
look at,
we're certainly not making any money at
no,
it. And we're tearing up our equipment and dealing with all of that and
but we still have work up McCarty Creek to do. We've got all these miles of non-maintained roads out here that we've wanted to do some improvements on. But we gotta get our stuff that we do maintain up to par before we even get out to that stuff and it may never happen, but
probably not in our lifetime.
no.
but-
So I just-
All we can do is discuss it and try to come up with a solution.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is. That's why.
I do win the lottery. And the county bylaw Powerball tickets.
It's not very conducive.
Eventually, if we spend like, I don't know, 50,000 a year on Powerball, odds are you gotta win eventually. Give me one of them $1 billion Powerballs, they'll get the road department in shape for a year or two.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Equipment's
I'd say
expensive.
homes, if you're gonna do it, do we need to make special arrangements? I mean, if you're feeling unsafe going up that road, especially if there's people coming up behind you or coming ahead of you. We need to make
Or
arrangements. with them.
passing the flagger without even stopping and talking to them.
If you guys are flagging it and they're not stopping, we need to fix that, so. But and Craig's kind of like, if you're plowing the other road, you need to go up and look at it. I don't agree with that, and I respectfully don't agree with that. I think we need to make special arrangements to get up into that part of the neck of the woods, especially if you guys don't feel safe going up there.
yeah,
That's just an idea. And that comes from what I'm hearing. Those are the things that I'm getting. It's not coming from me to go up there and look at it.
mhm.
It's going, okay, they're doing the bottom, why don't they just drive to the top? That's the questions I'm
Yeah.
getting. I'm not saying go up there and look at it every time, but that's what's being,
Yeah, no, I hear you
That's-
completely.
that's
I'd
the,
love to let some
the
of them ride
complaints I'm
with our
getting.
plow driver.
Yeah, it's crazy that we
Coming
can make it
down.
up to and up and down these roads in a 43,000 pound truck with the plow down and people can't make it up the road in an all-wheel drive car that would hopefully they have good tires on. It boggles my mind how our guys are able to drive dump trucks around basically
Well, and
with all this and be
I'd
able to
love to
get
have
around.
them in there and have you either going up the hill and have to stop. And then back all the way down without that front end sliding out sideways on you, or coming down the hill with a car coming at you and have to stop.
Mhm.
And you don't know if it's gonna be in 10 feet or 1,000 feet
Yeah.
before that truck stops moving.
And we do have other roads that are narrow like that, but they're on flat ground. There's just different scenarios. That is narrow and it is on a very steep hill.
Right.
So just added, but yeah,
Well,
like I said, would you just let me know if there's,
think
if you
the
get
whole-
enough complaints that you want us to go look at it, then I'll just go look at it. But I can just tell you if
think
it's,
the-
if we need sand anywhere else, it also needs it. So you
which
can
is
just,
like everywhere. I
Yeah.
mean, I know that happens. I'm trying to convey what I'm hearing and what I'm being told to you guys, so you know.
Yeah.
yep, no, 100%. You just, if you were want us to look at it, you just say, hey, I need you to go look at it. We'll go look at it. And if it
Because
needs
think
it like I know
if
it does.
it's icy and
I think you need to portray to them too, that we're not just gonna plow when we're plowing everything else, because it's a special situation where we need help to make sure there's no traffic coming up or down. That's special. We're not just gonna do it every time we do the lower end, because we
Don't need it.
we don't have the manpower to haul a truck and 2 trucks up there to flag while we're doing that. So
Yep.
they need to understand it's a
And I-
special circumstance for us to get equipment up there.
Yeah,
I
it
think
involves,
that
it
that
involves,
is- I think that's been conveyed. And they understand that. They were the ones who brought up the fact that they wanna come up with a time, which goes back to Corey's with the schedule. This is
Yeah.
when we're gonna do it. Stay home or stay at work. I don't know what the answer to that is.
Scheduling time is pretty rough on us though, cause you never know where you're gonna be at. If you had heavy snow on a road or something, like, it's something we have to plan days in advance to be able to make it work, and even then, that plan's gonna change, but just being able to take another truck up to have a flood, somebody run up before you and stop traffic from coming down, and then vice versa, go to the bottom when you turn around. I mean, we don't need a schedule for that. I mean, I can tell you between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock is gonna be the best time to do it, cause that's when everybody's coming and going to work. Cause we're definitely not getting up there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Craig, do you have a point of contact up there where one person?
I
could
have several of them.
That's what I figured. I just didn't know
A
if
whole
you would
bunch, huh?
be able to narrow that down.
And it's, like Dylan said, and you gentlemen fully understand this. They'll come in here and we'll have a good conversation, and then they still want more when they go home.
Oh, yeah,
But that's everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that
not
is.
just there. That's,
that's everywhere, yeah.
it is. It's everywhere. It's the
Yeah.
messages I've had about, hey, you guys have always done really good, but can you put a little more sand out? No, we're not.
Yeah,
and I think that just needs to be explainable. And
Well, I don't know if you guys explained it this way or not, but the way the state explains sand usage is it's not there to melt ice. It's there as a traction aid, and it's not gonna be out there all the time, and it doesn't stay, and it may be hours between sanding operations, and they need to be prepared for it, but a lot of people think that sand's supposed to break that ice up and melt it. It doesn't. It might help eventually as it gets in there and works its way around, but it's not there to melt it.
well, and I think part of the issue is they see the pavement's melted, but pavement gets warm in a little bit of sunshine. Gravel doesn't, especially in shaded areas.
I don't have any of these problems where I live. I decided not to move up to the top of a mountain and
But
try to make it in and out of there in 2-wheel drive.
I get a lot of calls of, well, why does the freeway look better? I'm like, well, Helena has 13 guys running plows 24/7 with a lot bigger budget for sand. And there's a lot more traffic on that road. It's easier for them.
Yeah, and then also we didn't have an engineer homeschooled to make so
Yeah.
the slopes and the corners and
yeah. No, you guys are doing a great job.
yeah, it's just, it's
I really
always,
get very few complaints about the road department. I just
I'll forward them
don't.
to you if you want them.
Pardon?
I'll forward them.
No,
it's just unfortunate
Come
that
down
that
and have
side of the
dinner.
hill gets all of like, or just always maxed out all the time.
Come down to the bar with me once in a while, you'll get a couple.
I envy these guys working in Boulder a lot because there's just a lot less people. Over there, it's just,
Well,
you're
and
just,
the other part
all the
is-
time is just go, 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 go. Hey, I know you're already doing a lot, but we need you to do more. There's more to do.
With the
Yeah.
exception of some new people around here, most of them, just because of being a smaller community, so
Right.
Whitehall, and so it's a lot harder for you to call and chew out your friend because he's not doing his job.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely busy over there. That's why I know I'm kind of a pain in the butt to deal with, but when I say I don't want any more work, I don't want any more work. It's not because I just want to sit around the shop. It's because we're already so far behind and so much stuff needs to get done. There's miles and miles of trees that are 6 feet tall that are right on the edge of the road that it's just. All these trees that we waited too long and now we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trees that are hard to deal with. And there's just stuff we need to do. There's culverts need to be put in, trees need to be moved. It's just always so much stuff.
This is stuff we need to talk about during budget cycle too. I mean, if you guys are falling behind up there and we need to budget another guy for your crew, if that would help alleviate some of that, we need to know that. You know,
Yeah,
would
then the
another guy
problem
help, or
is,
is that just throwing?
But then you need, it's
The
like
problem
everything
is,
else,
where
then
does
you
the
need
funding for
equipment.
that come from? Because our budget's already tapped out, so if I have to put another, whatever it is, 85,000 into the budget for another full-time employee, well, then we're pulling 85,000 somewhere else.
Right, somewhere else in the county, that's our job, is to balance all that out.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys aren't getting the job done with the funding you have, then that's our job to figure out how we can alleviate that pressure.
But we're not. I need more gravel, I need more equipment. I need more culverts.
Yeah, that's just hard with more people that come in. We have the same workforce, but there's more people, there's more traffic.
Right.
Roads are getting more hammered,
We
you know.
see it every week.
Yeah.
There's a new
Yeah.
subdivision, there's a new, even if it's 2 or 3 houses, it makes a difference.
Yeah,
And
You think
especially,
our taxes would go up like, another house, okay, we get more money, but it's just like.
yeah, yeah, it would be crazy, like if I lived with like the folks out on Clancy Creek or McCullen Creek, where if you combined all those residences. Amount what they provide in taxes. And you go out there and blade once and it costs you probably 6,000 miles, $1,000 a mile. All their taxes are blown in one day out
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
And then we're providing all that maintenance for a road with no one that lives on it.
Right.
Versus all the stuff like McCullen Creek and Jackson Creek and all these places where there's just so much more traffic, it would just be interesting for people to just think about, oh
and
man,
residential taxes do not pay the bills.
no,
And that's something
No.
else we can look at. If you're doing miles of road that nobody drives on, can we shift some of that workforce or whatever to something else?
yeah, but
Well-
you can all do that until people start calling.
Right.
And then it's, we have to.
We've kind of hit on this conversation a little bit in the past of reevaluating the road priority list, but we're waiting on updating road standards and some stuff before we dive into that, and then we kind of want to get the road list right, and we're waiting on lawsuits and stuff for that. So it may be worth just evaluating what we have now as a road list and saying, do we want to do an ABC route or whatever, and, give us a better plan of priorities. Just because I don't know how fast the rest of this is gonna happen. But then it's, you've got Lump Gulch where you have like 5 miles of nobody, but there's 10 houses at the top that are gonna call complaints. Now we have to plow that rest of that road.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, if there's nobody that lives here, if we're not gonna plow it. But they live so far away. I mean, there's people all the way to the top of Lump and Clancy and all across McClellan. And if you talk to Kathy, I would like to find out if she's ever found anything on the status of McClellan Creek Road from the Strawberry Butte turn to the county line. They were supposed to be looking into that potentially being a Forest Service road.
Hmm.
And she kind of kept.
That's not the one that goes to Warm Springs. This is one goes.
One that goes to Highway 12.
Oh, okay, the other way. All right.
Yep. That's 12 miles of road that I don't know that we should be maintaining. But, 40 years ago, they put it on a Schedule A and they never stopped maintaining it. But when we're looking at old records, there was stuff that showed that as being the Forest Service portion of McClellan Creek Road.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know that I don't have any of the documentation yet to prove it, but there's some evidence that points that McClellan Creek is only county from John Street to the intersection with Strawberry Butte, which would take about 12 miles of road off of there. So that's what I'm saying. We need to, really to get it all cleaned up, we need to just know what roads are ours in the first place.
Yeah, that's a good
Because
one.
there's so many roads out there that.
There was a handshake back in the day and the handshake grew into what we're
And we
talking
get
about
them-
is just
and we get
every
them
day.
by default. I mean, you,
Not necessarily.
all the way to Highway 12, you never used to run into a house up there till you got to the
Yeah.
Russ Ranch at the top, and then you get to Crystal Creek, and then you start coming down and you start running into some houses. But now that's not the case, so everybody,
Yeah, we had a cabin up there as a kid and it was chain in, chain out.
Yeah.
in the winter time.
Mhm.
It would get hit like once a month if the blade would run out there,
Yeah,
so.
Times change.
Yep,
nature of the beast, but you guys are
Yep.
doing a great job with what you have. That's all you can do.
Mhm.
We're trying
All you
to.
can do.
Well,
I'm done complaining.
We done with the
Yes,
meeting,
if
Mr.
not, we'll be
Chairman?
adjourned. Thank you.